How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So I thought today's video was going to be a little different. I thought I was going to be unboxing and reviewing the LAAT. However, I found the Imperial Shuttle at my Walmart store. So this has been a big week for Micro Galaxy Squadron. If you've been keeping tabs with me on Instagram, then you saw that the LAAT and the Imperial Shuttles are hitting Walmart stores. We also have the N1 and the Y-Wing hitting Target stores, first spotted in California. And then we have the exclusives from San Diego Comic-Con that are debuting this week as well. Initially, I was going into my Walmart stores to find the LAAT. I had one of the employees scan the barcode and they said that most of my Walmarts in this area have them in stock. But it seems like they've just been keeping them in the back for like the toy reset. One night, as I was making my way home, I decided to stop at a store pretty close to me. It was like 9:30 p.m., so they had like the toys with the pallets and stuff like that. So I saw a brown box that said Jazwares and it said Imperial Shuttle on it. So I flagged down one of the employees, asked them if they could open this so I can buy it, and they agreed, and so here we have it. It was a very pleasant surprise. Alright, here's our first in-hand look at a Series 4 vehicle. It comes with Emperor Palpatine and 2 Royal Guards. Again, this is not a Walmart exclusive. Pre-orders were on Amazon. They sold out very quickly, but it is nice to see other retailers picking up a popular ship like this. This isn't the first time that we saw this. It was debuted at Star Wars Celebration. We saw that in London. We had Maxwell and a bunch of fans out there testing the whooshability of this Imperial Shuttle. The back of the packaging gives us a glance at what other ships to expect in this Series 4. We also have some descriptions of what this ship can actually do. Here is a closer look at the rest of those vehicles that are released in this Series 4. Now, like I said earlier, these two have already been spotted on the West Coast in California. So check your Target stores if you live on the West Coast because they have started hitting. And honestly, once there is a first sighting of these hitting stores, it doesn't take long until the rest of them start getting them in stock. This ship looks like it has a lot going on. So the back of this packaging shows that it sits up to 7 figures. It looks like the turrets can move about 30 degrees. We have landing gear. We have front turrets that go 25 degrees. We have a boarding ramp in the front, and then wing motion at 135 degrees. Also, what's added to this very sleek packaging is a 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi. So that's pretty cool. They didn't have to include that, but that is a nice touch, especially for you in-box collectors that do not want to open this. And here I'll give you a nice close-up of what these figures look like in-box, just because I think it looks so good. As always, here is the barcode to help you track this down in store. So like I said, this has been on Amazon for pre-order. They sold out, but they have been popping in and out of stock. So I will post that link in the description. If a Walmart link does go live, then I will post that also. Okay, well, I'm pleasantly surprised so far. I also didn't realize how tall this ship was going to be until you put the wings on. I mean, there's a considerable amount of height. I mean, we'll do some measurements later. But so far, for $30, I'm impressed. There isn't a whole bunch of wash to this. I would say there is a reasonable amount. The paint applications look great, especially here at these back thrusters. And you can see the joints where the wings will articulate upwards and downwards. But overall, I like the appearance of this. You're going to be really pleased with the inside cargo. Something I did want to point out, so these joints that articulate the wings upwards and downwards, they don't look too out of place, which I like that. You know, it doesn't look like it's sticks out too much that, you know, doesn't make the ship look authentic. So I do appreciate the team to make this, you know, blend as much as possible. And while I'm here, I'll give you a nice close-up of that wash to the wings. It does look really good. I mean, it has that faded appearance that it's been, you know, flying through the galaxy quite a bit. You know, I had to give some love to this box insert. This artwork is amazing, and it fills the liner of the box. Very appropriate with that Death Star and that Star Destroyer. But here I'll give you a good close-up of the figures. So we have Palp, we have the Royal Guards, they have their Force Pikes. And then Palp looking sinister and evil. Paint applications, again, look awesome. There's no bleed to them. Both of these do come with their basic articulation. The Force Pike on the Royal Guard is molded to the right arm, so you don't have any issues, you know, moving the arms upwards or downwards. Of course, we have to do a comparison with Vader just to show the height difference between the two and how much they paid attention, showing that Palpatine is significantly shorter than Vader. And also, the joints on my Royal Guards are a little stiff, so I'm gonna have to heat them up with like some hot water or like a blow dryer or something like that, just to soften the plastic to get them in a seated position. Here we'll do a quick measurement of these figures. So Vader is standing just over an inch, and Palp is just at an inch, it looks like. Alright, measurements for this beast go as followed. So from the center, The very bottom of the ship with the landing gear up to the top of the center wing, we are at just under 8 inches. For length, it's safe to say just at 7 inches. For width, we are maybe just under 5.5 inches. And for height, with the wings opened up, we are, oh man, it looks like at 1 foot. This thing opened up, it is just a beast. I mean, with these wings, this alone, how it stands, is just a beautiful display piece. Alright, so let's break this down. To open the wings, again, we have the joints here on both sides. They open simultaneously, so you can pull on either side of the wing, and they will both open up to give you that flight position. And the joints to this feel nice and stiff. They don't seem like they would just like flop. If you displayed it this way, it doesn't seem like they would just like open up and just, kind of flop down. I do like the idea that there's like multi-gears that click, which would prevent like any play in the wings. But because it does have that great articulation, you can have the wings in the full flight mode. You can bring them up a little bit, make them a little bit straighter. You can bring them up even higher, whatever your heart desires. But having this is a great appeal to this ship. Next, we'll move our focus to the back of the ship. You can see the attention that they took to paint the inside of those little thrusters. This rear turret has that 30-degree range of motion, so you can take it from side to side, and you can shoot down some X-wings that are on your tail. We also have some turrets to the front of the ship, which articulate 25 degrees, so you can have it looking straight in front of you. You can also articulate them and have it looking straight down, maybe underneath you a little bit. And then, of course, both sides will articulate. On the underside, we have some more fantastic sculpting with some minimal hardware throughout. We have landing gear on both sides, left and right, which opens and closes to the ship. You can see there's some more components on the inside that they've sculpted in there. And then when you close them up, they stay flush to the ship. Here at the front, we have a boarding ramp. So all you have to do is take this, pull this down, it'll click. And then that's about as far as it stays open, which I would have liked to have seen more out of that. I mean, you can push it down, but it doesn't seem to click in place anywhere else. And I don't want to push it too far back because I'm afraid I'm going to break it. But ideally, I would have liked to have seen it stayed open maybe at least that far. And if you want to close this back up, there's a button. And once you press this, it'll pop right back into the ship. Here's what it looks like with the landing gear on. So it's more of like an aesthetic look rather than a functionality. I mean, if you really wanted to make it functional, the ship would have to be a lot bigger to, be able to have clearance, head clearance for these figures to go underneath. In that regard, that's not really a deal breaker to me. I mean, honestly, would I like to see it be a little bit bigger? Sure. But it's not the primary use that I'm getting out of this ship. Now that's going to bring us to the interior. Okay, the cockpit has a smoky tinted glass to it. It has a single hinge joint which clips into the body of the ship. Pretty self-explanatory, just pop it on open. That will lead us to the inside. And this interior just looks so good. I mean, they put 6 seats in there. So you have 2 in the very back. Let me try to zoom in for you. You have 2 in the very back over there with some clips. We have 2 center ones and then 2 front ones. You can see there's a lot of sculpting that they've added, like components. You can see like the slotted flooring. And this is just really well done. Something I want to show you. If you look closely, there is a pin right there. So it looks like we can put a droid on there. So I'm going to open up this side over here. I don't want to show the inside yet because it's pretty awesome. But once you open that up, okay, we can zoom in a little bit. There is a pin there for a droid. So we can put R2 there, even though it doesn't fit on this. But if we ever get like R2Q5 or something like that, we have a spot for an astromech droid. And that is just perfect. I went ahead and put a stormtrooper on the inside just to show you what a figure looks like sitting there. I mean, my royal guards are pretty glued up. I just think there's too much glue on the inside of their like legs. So I have them in some almost boiling water to help soften that up. And of course, if you wanted to, you could put Palpatine in one of those chairs. He fits in there no problem. You just have to like widen the clips a little bit. Once you have this cockpit filled to your heart's desire, you can close it on up. It will click into place, and you can still see your figures on the inside, which I'm glad that they didn't totally black out this windshield. I just think this makes it look even better. Alright, now for the finale, probably my favorite part of the ship, aside from the wings, but there is a little hatch right here. This part of the ship will come off and it will expose the main cabin with Palpatine's chair in there. So this is the area that will fit 7 figures inside. I mean, come on, this is just so cool. Having Palp's chair there, we have areas for the guards to sit. I'll probably put Vader in one of those chairs since my royal guards are not cooperating right now. But this is just such an awesome treat to have. And then as you move to the front, you can see an opening that will lead into the cockpit. Right here, I think, is going to be our most realistic scenario. We have Palpatine in the chair. We have Vader sitting there thinking about what he's done. And our 2 royal guards manning the front, waiting to land. Here's another scenario you can have set up. So they're just getting ready to land, or they just landed, and Palpatine's giving Darth Vader some orders. So I really like the idea that you can display this opened up with the figures exposed. And even if your shelving isn't big enough to have the wings flat out, you can still fold it up, and if you turn the ship, you can still see the figures on the inside. And when you want to close it back up, it's pretty easy. This just pops right into place. I lift up the cockpit first, and then I place it on top. It'll start clicking in, and then I close that, and that'll keep it secured. And the other thing too is you can't have any figures standing in there, just there's not enough height clearance, so you either have to have them laying down or in one of these chairs. Let's compare this shuttle to some of our other vehicles. So it's supposed to be about 65 feet in length, and we'll compare this to like the Millennium Falcon, which I believe is supposed to be about 114 feet in length. So we'll see if there's a big size difference between the two. And when I line them up, there definitely is, the Falcon is definitely a lot longer than the Imperial Shuttle, which is great. I mean, even though most of these ships are not in scale with each other, these two don't look super wonky or like super off. And here, I'll even take my camera off my tripod so you can see the difference between them. Even like a more aerial shot like this, you can see that there is a significant amount of difference between them. So the Falcon should be ideally almost twice the size of this Imperial Shuttle, so I would say these are really well in scale with each other. So now let's take this out of the picture and put in some of our smaller fighters. So we have an X-Wing, and then we have a Darth Vader's TIE, and then obviously these should be significantly smaller than the Imperial Shuttle, but just to show you a good size comparison between the four. And here I'll even give you a better look from longest to shortest. This looks awesome. Actually having all these side by side, I mean, I'm going to have to create like an original trilogy type of shelving just to accommodate these four ships, because I think having them all four together like this looks really cool. Alright, that's going to wrap up this review and unboxing of this Imperial Shuttle from Micro Galaxy Squadron. So my final thoughts on this is it's probably my new favorite ship, if not, then it's top 3 hands down. The reason why I say that is because of the overall functionality of this ship. From the articulation to the wings and the turrets, the sculpting of the ship is awesome. It's pretty in line with the Millennium Falcon as far as scale goes. But I think for me, the biggest appeal is that interior space. You could seat 13 figures in there, which is insane for that small of a ship. And that's not to mention putting 2 Royal Guards standing at the entrance also. And I absolutely love that they have Palpatine's chair in there. I mean, that's just like the icing on the cake. The only real limitation I saw with this ship is going to be that front loading ramp. It doesn't extend all the way down to give it a more accurate look, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to be displaying my figures on the ramp as it is. But overall, I think this is a huge win for us Star Wars collectors and fans of Micro Galaxy Squadron. And it's honestly really hard to beat that $30 price point for everything you're getting in that ship. But that is it, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this video. Be on the lookout. These are hitting Walmart stores now, and Amazon pre-orders should be following soon. If you enjoyed this unboxing and review, be sure to like and subscribe. It is free and it really helps out the channel. You can find me on Instagram to stay up to date with Micro Galaxy Squadron and all things toy related. I will put that link in the description below. Until next time, I will see y'all in the next video.